Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Today we're going to be talking... Oh, what's this? Oh, look at this here. Hey, Shaun Jones for passing 100,000 subscribers. Well, we're on 105,000 now, but listen, I appreciate every single one of you who've subscribed this year. It's been an absolute fantastic year. I read all the positive comments, and honestly, I genuinely appreciate it. I appreciate all the DMs on Instagram. This is cooler than I thought, to be honest. I thought, okay, a little plaque, who cares about that? But now that it's came, it kind of represents all the hard work that's went into over 300 videos this year. Now I've just got to find somewhere to put it. I promise you, 2024 is going to be a big year to the channel. We got new styles of content. I'm starting to get back training again, just a little bit, and I'm going to be giving back to you guys as much free stuff as possible. So make sure you subscribe if you're new to the channel. If we get to 5,000 likes, I'll drop a free mini course on how I've built my YouTube channel over these last 11 months, and I'll release it before the new year. Hit that like button. Right, now that's done and out the way. Today we're talking about the Tate brothers versus the Paul brothers in an MMA match. Who is going to win? If Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate and Jake Paul and Logan Paul both enter the room, who's coming out alive? For me, it's a pretty easy answer, and anyone who understands fighting will agree with me today. First off, let's take a look at how this conversation came about. Andrew Tate was on the George Janko podcast last week. If you don't know George Janko, he used to be on the Logan Paul podcast, but Logan Paul treated him like crap, constantly making fun of his religion. So George Janko started his own podcast. Turns out he's a phenomenal interviewer, he's a really good talker, and he's very wise. This is the best thing he could have done. Anyway, George Janko released a two-part podcast with Andrew Tate, and George asked him who would win in a fight out of the Tate brothers and the Paul brothers.
Two brothers, one cage. Jake, Logan, you, Tristan. Who comes out alive?
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start internet beefs. I'm really trying not to.
You could say Jake and Logan, man.
Bro,
Don't worry about it.
No, I can't lie. I'm going through life. I'm trying to live peaceful now. I've got Fed agents in my house. Matrix is after me. I'm just trying to live peaceful. But of course, I have absolute faith in myself and my brother, and I know what we've been through, and I know the kind of men we are.
Okay, I just had to ask, you know?
So he answers it in a roundabout way that he knows him and his brother would come out victorious. You can tell that Andrew Tate doesn't want beef. I think he's 36 or 37 now. He's got kids. He's got a lot of drama going on in his life as it is. Does he need the added weight and stress and pressure of having a fight with the Paul brothers? Probably not. But then a couple days later on the Jake Paul podcast, Jake and Logan replied to Andrew Tate with this.
You look really good in doggy style. That Tate said the other day that him and Tristan would beat you two in a cage match?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
look,
not.
I ain't gonna lie, that
look.
shit not happening.
Before he said that, I don't want to say this out of context. He also said, I'm not trying to get in internet beef.
Yeah, but then he said it.
Okay.
But
He said it like smiling with like laughing and kind of like jokingly.
This isn't the energy that I expected out of Logan. Logan's had very public beef with Andrew Tate. Maybe he's trying to take the high road for once and trying to change. Logan Paul? Changing? What? Never.
That's delusion. That's delusion. I'm sorry.
beef.
Look, Andrew, fighter, legitimate, badass motherfucker,
Yeah.
strong mentality. I'm sorry, Tristan Tate is the weak link. bro, come on. Tristan,
I say let's run
he got a bad shoulder. He's shaped like a gingerbread man.
Romania is a flight
Hey,
away.
you doing it to run him? it. The PFL will.
I don't want no beef, but that's
PFL
delusion.
The PFL will set this up.
Uh-oh.
A MMA
10
double
million,
tag team match.
10 million for everybody.
You might have a fight, you might have a fight on your hands.
That would go crazy.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. No, seriously.
I'm
let's
about
do
the
it.
action. Like I'm less talk now. Let's just fucking go.
Yo, but you know for a fact, me and Jake will travel to Romania.
There you go.
We will make this happen. We'll do it wherever you want, whatever conditions you want. 10 million each fighter. It's not going to be accepted.
That's just the guarantee.
You punching a hole in him?
pay-per-view.
There's a reason the fight
pay-per-view's
won't happen.
Huge. I mean, it's hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
10 million apiece. The PFL would definitely do that. I know that they're looking to put on interesting super fights. They've just bought Bellator. God knows where they're getting the money from. I said this when they signed Francis Ngannou. Like, the PFL doesn't really do good for pay-per-views. So are they going to recoup that money? I think it's maybe like Saudi money or something. But a Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate super fight matchup, that'd do a few pay-per-views. I think a lot of people would tune into that. Imagine how sick that'd be. I'd go and do a vlog. If you want to see future vlogs, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We got the HS Tiki Toki Misfits event coming up in January. I'm going to try and get to that. So make sure you subscribe for vlog content. But the Paul brothers here, seem pretty confident about who's going to win. I mean, when did he ever not seem confident? And I find it funny that they said Tristan Tate is the weak link and he's built like a gingerbread man. I think that's a little bit harsh. He said about his shoulder being injured. He actually recently had surgery on his shoulder. It was just before he went to prison. Interesting fact, Tristan Tate followed me on Instagram and we were speaking in the DMs and I was asking about his shoulder. I was talking about what I'd done to rehab my dislocated shoulder and he said that he liked me videos and we went back and forth a little bit and then they went to prison and both their accounts got deleted a couple weeks later. That was me claim to fame, that right there. But when they say that Tristan Tate is the weak link, I assume what they're talking about is the actual skill and ability because, yeah, Andrew Tate is the more skilled fighter out of them both. He's a lot more experienced than Tristan. But Tristan Tate is quite big. He's a legit 6'4" tank, to be fair. And he was still a European kickboxing champion. But kickboxing and MMA are absolute worlds apart, and both of the Tate brothers have done MMA fights before and they both got taken down in those fights and couldn't really do much with it. They weren't able to get back to the feet, and understandably so, because they weren't really training MMA. They were training kickboxing and would just take any fights that they could get for money, which is good. That's a sign of a badass, just taking a fight knowing that you have the disadvantage. But we know the Paul brothers have both got grappling experience, so we can see why the Paul brothers are confident, because they know, well, I'd just take them down, ground and pound, or choke them out. And Andrew and Tristan, if you're watching this is not any personal shots. We're just talking about the facts of MMA and grappling versus stand-up. The person who's the better grappler dictates where the fight can go, and that's why if you want to get into MMA and you want to go professional with it, what's the best martial art or discipline that you can learn? It's going to be wrestling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because even if you can't throw a punch, you've still got a higher probability of getting the job done, just because, as I say, you can dictate where the fight goes. And then Jake and Logan were on Logan Paul's podcast a couple days ago, and they spoke about this in a little bit more detail.
I want to break down what an MMA fight looks like between Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Tristan Tate, Andrew Tate, with the three main categories involved, which is upper body or hand striking, kicking, and wrestling and or grappling, and what that looks like. So let's start with actual fist striking.
We talk a lot. We say a lot of stuff. We got big ass mouths. We also do a lot.
Yeah.
And we back up a lot of the shit we say, or at least give it our best effort.
Yeah.
Right? As it stands, the other guys, they just talk a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of talking, and they're fantastic at it. It's why they have a following. They can be magnetic with words.
Let's be fair, the Tate brothers do a lot of talking, but they have also proved themselves before they even started talking. That's the whole reason why they talk. They've already put in that groundwork, which gives them the authority to talk. So Logan Paul's saying that the Tate brothers, all they do is talk. Yeah, but they've already proved themselves. I think Andrew Tate's had over 80 professional fights, so it's not an entirely fair argument what he's saying there.
We can sit here and talk all day, but that seems kind of pointless to me. Like, I don't,
Well, let's
why?
have
What's the point?
Let's have a theoretical conversation about it.
Yeah, so striking. I mean, who's facing who, right? So is it tag team?
Yeah, how does that work? How does that work?
It would have to be a new format in MMA.
No, they have 2-on-2
in
MMA, but I think it's
Eastern
tag
Europe.
team, I think.
I don't like that tag team thing. They done it in the Misfits event that I went to in October for the Prime card. I can't even remember who it was who was doing the tag team, and it's a terrible format. I feel like I was the only one who was saying that. Everyone was saying, oh, it's a great format. It's a great format, man. It kept things fresh and exciting. That's not an impression of anyone. It's just an American voice. The problem with the tag team thing is the moment that you get in trouble and you get rocked, you can just run over to your partner and tag them in. It kills all the momentum and excitement of a fight, because now you have to start fresh again. If I'm fighting someone, I rock them and then they go and tag their partner in. Now their partner comes in and I've got to now establish new distance, find a rhythm, set up shots for them. It completely resets the entire fight and kills that momentum that makes fights fun. How fun is it when you see a fighter get rocked and they survive through it, and then they come back through that adversity and then maybe even win the fight? The tag team format gets rid of all that potential opportunity. I know this fight is all hypothetically speaking, but please don't do the tag team crap. Just do two separate matches. It'd most likely be Andrew Tate versus Logan Paul, Tristan Tate versus Jake Paul.
This can't be that tactical. I'm just asking simple questions. So from the upper body hand striking situation, part of it, you guys clearly have the power and the experience to win that portion, correct?
No.
If it were boxing, absolutely. If it were kickboxing, he'd probably best us. Like, if it was solely kickboxing,
That's what I was gonna say.
how would he not?
Andrew's a good boxer. We've seen that in one of the video breakdowns they've done. If you want to go and watch it, you can watch it up here. We break down Andrew Tate's boxing. I think Andrew Tate's hands are looking pretty decent lately.
I think he's kind of clunky on his feet.
his guard ain't great, and he's a reactive counter puncher.
His chin is wide open in the air.
He leans back a lot. He throws some big punches, you'll get caught.
He does do that.
If it's MMA, I mean, dog.
And really, we're talking about Andrew here. Like Tristan's not really in this equation. Like,
Well, the way they describe it, it would be.
yeah, but that's like the light work. You know, like we'll take that out real fast and then.
By the way, without a question, for anyone doubting that, that's fucking insane. Like,
Are they bigger than you?
I think
Are they really?
Tristan's
Are they really
size, yeah.
6'5"?
Yeah.
No, they're
6'5",
both
240.
Tristan's like taller than Andrew, I think. He's like 6'2", and Andrew's like 6 foot.
No, Andrew's 6'3" and Tristan's 6'4". I think that's the actual height of them.
That's a big boy.
who cares, Mike?
No, I'm not
Doesn't
saying it like
matter.
that. I'm just talking.
Well, then what are you saying?
It's just a structural.
Doesn't really matter that much.
This is a silly convo.
All right. So what?
My dad could beat up your dad if this happened, but if this didn't happen and it was like this how it would happen.
I think it's fun to have those kind of.
I don't see why it's so hard to just answer who's got the advantage in the striking, the kicking, and the grappling. Why is it taking 6 minutes of back and forth to just say, yeah, we're better boxers, we've got the better grappling. The Tate brothers would win if it was a kickboxing match. Not hard, is it? And I genuinely think kickboxing fight, I think favours the Tate brothers. I think boxing fight typically would favour the Paul brothers, but I do think Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate would have a really good chance there, especially Andrew, because his hands are looking dangerous recently. I haven't really seen much footage of Tristan Tate boxing recently to be able to make a good prediction on whether he would be able to handle himself in a boxing realm or not. But I think in a boxing aspect, typically you've got to look at the Paul brothers. They've got the activity. They've got the most fights within boxing itself, whereas the Tate brothers haven't fought in forever. Yeah, they're sparring, they're still training every single day, but being able to replicate what you do in sparring under those bright lights is a completely different ball game. And then MMA, as soon as you bring that grappling into it, we know that the Paul brothers have got a decent bit of experience in grappling. Logan Paul can grapple. Jake Paul, although we haven't seen too much of him, he can definitely grapple. So I think in an MMA match, as much as it pains me to say, favours the Paul brothers. But strangely enough, if it was a street fight, I'd probably favour the Tate brothers. I just think maybe they've got a little bit more grit in them, a little bit more life experience, probably a bit more game. Now, I know some people won't want to listen to me because they'll be like,
Shaun, what have you done? You're not an MMA professional athlete. You're not a boxer. Why would we listen to you? You just chase clouds off other people and talk shit about people.
okay, you're right. I'll shut up from now. In fact, let's listen to what the former UFC welterweight champion of the world, Kamaru Usman, thinks about this entire situation.
You know, Jake and Logan Paul fighting Andrew and Tristan Tate.
If it's an MMA fight, I think that favors Jake and Logan.
It favors if it's MMA.
For sure. Jake and Logan, for sure.
Wait, Jake and Logan?
Yeah, Logan Paul. It favors them.
Why
would
is
you
that?
say that?
I mean, they actually wrestled.
Yeah, but these guys get the kicks, man. They're kickboxers.
Yeah, that's actually a disadvantage when it comes to wrestlers. You know, if I catch a kick and you fall down, like it's different. And it's a different balance. When you're a kickboxer, you have to be a little bit more upright because you have to be able to check kicks and stuff. When you're a boxer, you have to be a little bit more split stance because you have to give half your body. So it's different styles. But once you get that takedown, a kickboxer or a boxer has no... See, people don't realize that the regular human don't realize just
The regular
just I guess I would say
Just
maybe
civilian.
the civilian human
Yeah.
doesn't realize that it's an actual skill to be able to get off of your back.
Yeah.
As a man, can you imagine being held on your back and someone just tells you get off your back and you can't do it?
So there you go. Even Kamaru Usman, who's a highly educated, highly experienced UFC fighter, thinks that the Paul brothers would win. I don't want to keep you for like 20, 30 minutes here today. So what we'll do in another video, probably tomorrow, is we'll break down the MMA footage of the Paul brothers and the Tate brothers from a technical aspect. I know a lot of you guys like that type of stuff. And we'll look at it as objectively as possible and see who would truly win. But my question to you guys is, who do you think would win in an MMA match? And look, you can still be a Tate brothers fan, but admit that they haven't got the same wrestling or grappling credentials that the Paul brothers have got. You can still be a fan of them and what they say and the message that they put out there. Do you think this fight will even happen? The PFL said they'll give 10 million to each fighter. That's pretty big, but for Andrew and Tristan Tate, they're making a lot more than that with their Real World program and the War Room Mastermind. Comment below, let me know your guys' thoughts, and once again, thanks for this. Appreciate it. The next one will be 1 million. We're miles away from that though, so make sure you subscribe, help a brother out, and get this video to 5,000 likes, and I'll get that YouTube mini course out before the end of the year. Appreciate you all. See you tomorrow.